What's up everyone, I'm Twisted. It's been a while since my last video about predictions for Legends of Runeterra, and since then we've gotten some news and updates to the game. Today I'll be trying to predict who was the champion that was going to be released this month before it got delayed, as well as what we might expect in 2025 for Legends of Runeterra. In September, Brian Koplek and Eric Chen revealed that 4 brand new champions were being added to the game this year. Since then, we've seen Fiddlesticks, Warwick, and Ambessa joining the roster. As you might already know, these champions didn't release with voiceover, Ambessa and Warwick did not have a unique level up animation, and the brand new cards that came with the champions didn't feature voiceover nor flavor text. Thankfully, the LOR team has listened to player feedback and they decided to delay the release of brand new champions so that these champions can come to the game with a bit more love. I think that's a very good call, but unfortunately, or not, that means the champion they had planned to come out in December is going to come at a later date. But who was this champion? Well, in November we had the Path of Champions expansion titled Legends of Arcane Prologue, and the December expansion is a continuation of this one, as it's called Legends of Arcane Finale, which means this 4th champion was more than likely a champion from the show. This would also be in line with the other games part of League Studios, like League of Legends and Wild Rift. In case you don't know, Legends of Runeterra used to have its own studio at Riot Games, but they are now part of League Studios, which includes the games I mentioned. And which new champion is being released for those games in December? Well, none, I mean it depends. League PC isn't getting a new champion, they're getting a rework for Viktor, now based on Arcane. As for Wild Rift, since they never had the old version, they are getting Viktor as a brand new champion. So I think it's very likely that Legends of Runeterra was getting the new Viktor as a brand new champion as well. But you might ask, wasn't Viktor already in the game? Which is true, the old version of Viktor is still very much in the game. In fact, the latest update to Path of Champions brought that version of Viktor to the roster. But think about it, if the new Viktor was going to join the game, he would be a V2 of Viktor, just like we have Lux and Lux Illuminated. And a V2 requires new art, new flavor and new gameplay, which means they're basically a brand new champion. It would also make sense for them to delay the new Viktor so that he can be released with voiceover, a level up animation and maybe more unique cards. Now, if we look at this artwork promoting the release of Viktor to Path of Champions, wouldn't it make sense for it to connect with another artwork, one of the new Viktor, showing them facing each other? The text on the post even mentions that this isn't his final form, which is a meme but could also be referring to another form or another version of Viktor, which might be coming in the future. I do believe we will see Viktor sometime next year, but if it's not him, then it must be another Arcane champion, and so the only options are Singed or an exclusive champion. But there's still more to talk about because Sunny had the opportunity to interview Eric Chen. As I mentioned, LOR is now part of League Studios, and Eric Chen confirmed that the team will be collaborating with the teams within the other studios when it comes to new content in 2025. He mentions the narrative director approaching the LOR team about new stuff coming out for League PC in the future. Eric mentions how next year there will be 4 major content releases for Legends of Runeterra, and that these releases will be more thematic and more cohesive when it comes to both the champions added to Path of Champions, but also with the new adventures. We got a small taste of that with the Fiddlesticks release, which also brought Evelyn, another demon, to Path of Champions, as well as the Nightmare adventures, and we also saw it with the Arcane champions and the Arcane adventures. Circling back to League of Legends, we know that next year they're introducing thematic seasons. Each year there will be 3 thematic seasons, and each season will bring a brand new champion and new gameplay changes. These champions and these changes will be tied to the theme and narrative of the season. For example, the first one of 2025 will be themed after Noxus. These seasons are heavily tied to the lore of the world of Runeterra, and the narrative of each season is going to continue in the season following it. It's more than likely that when Eric Chen mentioned the narrative director approaching the LOR team about what was to come to League, that he was talking about these thematic seasons. So we know that 4 major content updates are coming to LOR, and we know that 3 thematic seasons are coming to League. I think it's more than likely that these will align, leaving room for maybe a summer event to also be part of a collaboration between the two teams, or for LOR to have at least one content update separate from League. All of this to say that in 2025 we are very likely seeing a Noxus update for Legends of Runeterra. In League, the first season is themed around Noxus, but there are a lot of references to the Black Rose. For example, throughout the new design of the map, and a new jungle monster who you might recognize as one of LeBlanc's followers in LOR. There have also been some leaks about Mel being the Noxian champion joining League during this season, and if you've seen Arcane, you know how that also ties to the Black Rose. So it's possible that for LOR, we'll be seeing LeBlanc join Path of Champions alongside a brand new Noxian champion, perhaps also tied to the Black Rose, like Mel. I think the idea was for major updates to Path of Champions to bring at least one brand new champion alongside an already existing one, for example Fiddlesticks and Evelyn. So bringing the new Viktor alongside the old one, and bringing for example Mel alongside LeBlanc might have been their plans at first. But again, they are slowing down on the production of new champions so that these champions can get more love before being added to the game. So it's hard to say if this pattern of releasing a new champion alongside an old one will remain true next year. Let me know down below which champions do you think will get added to Path of Champions and what your thoughts are on Mel and the new Viktor potentially joining the game next year. I'm Twisted. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later. And with this being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.